Good morning. My name is Jen, and I'm so happy to be here with you this morning to celebrate our live Dharma. I was getting out of my car this morning and just looked around. The leaves are starting to change, and it just reminds me that fall is a time for change, and sometimes change can be hard, but it is so beautiful. So today, our good temple friend, Rebecca Kamini, Won He, will be sharing her Dharma Talk, Being Humbled and Empowered by Grace. Let us begin our practice together today by reading the Essential Dharmas of Daily Practice found on page 11. The Essential Dharmas of Daily Practice. The mind is originally free from disturbance, but disturbances arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the equanimity of our true nature by letting go of disturbances. The mind is originally free from delusion, but delusions arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the wisdom of our true nature by letting go of delusions. The mind is originally free from wrongdoing, but wrongdoings arise in response to sensory conditions. Let us restore the precepts of our true nature by letting go of wrongdoings. Let us replace disbelief, greed, laziness, and ignorance with belief, zeal, questioning, and dedication. Let us turn resentment into gratitude. Let us turn dependency into self-reliance. Let us turn reluctance to learn into willingness to learn well. Let us turn reluctance to teach into willingness to teach well. Let us turn lack of public spirit into eagerness to serve the good of all. Now, let us stand up and loosen our minds and body with some movements. Hi, my name is Sean, and starting with rotating our ankles and wrists. You can do as much or as little as you can. You don't have to follow exact the same posture that I do. Let's rub our hands and gently massage our knees. Rotate our knees. Just relax your whole body, your mind. Just enjoy this gentle movements. And let's rotate our waist. Now let's put our hands on our shoulders. With your elbows, draw a circle. As rotating your shoulders. You can also turn it the opposite direction. Okay. Good. Now let's shake off our hands. Let's put our feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Grounded. Let's bounce our knees, shake off our whole body. You can do it gently. Shake off left and right. Or
If you like, you can shake off intensely with your out breath through your mouth. As you let go of your breath, let your thoughts, stress, tensions go. Let go and release. Relax your shoulders. 10 more seconds. Okay, good. Let's settle our breath. Good. Now let's check one more time if your feet are grounded. Let's breathe in, hands up, commencing. Breathe out, sink our body. Lower our body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shoulders up, elbows, wrist, and hand. Shoulders down, elbows, wrist, and hand. You don't have to shrink your shoulders up, just the feeling of upper arm is going up. Push it down. One more time. Now let's turn to one side. Hummingbird. We're gonna use our weight shift to the front stance and back stance. At the same time, move our hands forward and gather energy towards you, back stance, the front towards you. Gather fresh fall, autumn Qi energy towards you. One more time. Let's turn to the other side. Your upper body stays straight. Relax your shoulders. Good. Now let's turn to the other side. This time, touch the ocean and the sky. Same thing. Shift our weight to the front and back. This time, starting with the back stance. Breathe in. Lower your body. Touch the ocean. Cross your hands. Slowly come up. Front stance to the sky. Back stance. Touch the ocean. Scan your whole body. Front stance to the sky. Touch the ocean. Grab any negative feelings and touch the sky. Let go. One more time. Let's turn to the other side. Back stance. Lower your body. Touch the ocean. Sky. Now let's turn to the center, flying geese. As you breathe out, lower your body. Relax your shoulders or any tensions on your torso. One more time. Turn to the one side. This time, ocean wave. Wave is coming towards you and push. Good. Turn to the other side. Let's face the other side. Let's face at the center. Looking over the full moon, watching over the full moon. Bend your knees a little bit, and turn your torso with your hands. Oh, there's a full moon. Turn your torso and hands, and looking back. Slowly turn. To the other side. One more time on each side. Good. Let us breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, hands to the side. Release. Breathe in. Settle our breath. One more time. Let's put our feet together. Breathe in, arms to the side. Palms together in the sky. Slowly bring it down. Now let us offer 4 bows, either standing or full bows. You can use your mats for your knee paddings.
With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the marvelous gift of nature and the universe. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents and everyone who has given me life and nurtured me. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings, the truth of interconnectedness among all beings. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws, which guides us, protects us, and promotes justice. Meditation is simple and easy. Please take time to find your most comfortable position on the floor or in a chair. Wiggle to release any tension and focus on the energy in your lower abdomen. This is your Danjan, the power center for your breathing. When we settle our mind and energy in our Danjan, our energy flows and protects our one focused mind. Now bring your awareness to your tongue. Place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. When you do this, pure and clear saliva may gather under your tongue, a delightful sign of cool energy ascending. Smile at your calm and clear spirit. If over time your legs ache unbearably, you may change your position very slowly and quietly. In this way, you will maintain a calm stillness and honor the silent practice of those around you. When thoughts arise, do not play with them. Simply allow them to disappear. Continue to bring your awareness back to your Danjan abiding breath. When your mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation. We are grateful to sit here quietly together, finding the still point within. In meditation, may our ever calm, ever bright spirit be with us.
Youngju, page 4. Shanji Yangki Ashim Jang Mansa Yoe Ashim Tong Chanji Yoa Tong Ilche Ayo Chanji Dong Shim Jong. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth settles in my being. My spirit penetrates all things as my mind wills. Heaven, earth, and I become one. I am one with the way of heaven and earth.
Prayer for world peace.
Grace of heaven and earth, grace of parents, grace of fellow beings, grace of laws. O Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace, may we take refuge in Dharma and be filled with compassion and wisdom. May we transform delusion into wisdom, greed into generosity, resentment into gratitude, discord into harmony, and hatred into compassion. May all nations grow and benefit mutually. May the strong help the weak, and may the weak learn and evolve according to Dharma. May all those who have died from world conflicts and disasters be delivered through all obstacles and be at rest. May there be peace throughout the world, and may all beings enjoy tranquility and happiness, living in their original true nature. This we pray with our whole hearts. Wish and pray, sincerely and truly, where my hands touch the world, where my feet walk on the earth, where my voice echoes through the hills, and in all realms where my heart and mind reach, that we all together share a true affinity for attaining great enlightenment and for helping all living beings.
Sutra Chanting, page 9.
One is the realm of samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and laws, the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings. One manifests as both permanence and impermanence, viewed as permanence, one unfolds into infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanence. One unfolds into infinite worlds through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies. In the four forms of birth, we transform through the 6 realms of existence, progressing or regressing with grace, arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after One song, the Dharmakaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies, deeply knowing human affairs and universal principles thoroughly, and using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing, and receiving grace rather than harm, until we attain the great empowerment of One and become become one with the nature of Ilwan.
My back, it feels good. It's like ironing my back. It feels great. Wow.
I can show you the view.
Good morning. Good morning, Sour. Good morning, Han River. Good morning, friends. It's a beautiful, cool morning. And right next to the Han River, there's a beautiful Sotaesan Memorial Building. You see a Yuan Sang on this building.
This morning, our good temple friend and longtime practitioner, Rebecca Kamini Won He, is going to share her Dharma Talk, Being Humbled and Empowered by Grace. Let us practice deep listening as we warmly welcome Rebecca.
Good morning. Today, I'll be talking about the awareness and requital of grace, which is one of the 4 principles of Won Buddhism. Requital here meaning to repay, to give back in kind, to return grace for grace. I will be eventually referring to a handout that is in your booklet, so you may take that out at any time. And I believe that will be popping up online as well. Pause and think for a minute about the blessings you have received and how they generally work in this life. They come and they go. It's a simple fact that we experience every day, yet we often resist accepting it. Do you know the medieval depiction of the fortune's wheel? It's a wheel that's presided over by the goddess Fortuna, usually a king sitting at the top, complete with a crown and jeweled robe. At the bottom is a pauper in rags, skinny, struggling. Other people are clinging onto the sides as the wheel turns. The wheel is spun at random by Fortuna. This is a Western depiction of impermanence. Medieval writings about the wheel are really negative, so listen to this whining and complaining from Boethius. I know the manifold deceits of that monstrous Lady Fortune, in particular her fawning friendship with those whom she intends to cheat, until the moment when she unexpectedly abandons them and leaves them reeling in agony beyond endurance. This view of the world never really satisfied me, which is why I've been pulled toward a more Eastern way of interpreting the world and its mysteries. In fact, if we look at this continuing cycle of change through the view of understanding and requiting grace, it's an utter mind shift. So I'd like to suggest that rather than seeing the world as vindictive or capricious, that we see that it is in fact radiant, steadfast, impartial, and exceedingly just. It is full of grace. So the second principle of Won Buddhism tells us the awareness of grace and requiting of grace means that we put gratitude into practice by deeply feeling and knowing the content of the grace we have received from heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings, and laws, and modeling ourselves wholeheartedly on that way. Even in a situation where we might feel resentful, we should discover the grace in that situation and respond with gratitude. This principle can therefore serve as a foundation for the way we live, not just as Won Buddhists, but as human beings trying to make our way as best we can through this dusty world. I see three components to this principle: understanding the grace that we receive, modeling our behavior on that way, and responding with gratitude. So first, understanding. As the principle states, deeply feeling and knowing the content of the grace we have received. But can we ever fully understand the magnitude of what we have been given in this human life? We're told it's extremely rare to be born human, even rarer to be exposed to Buddhism. So my answer for myself at this time in my practice is no. I can't possibly comprehend this grace. But I believe we can improve our understanding through awareness, through inquiry, and through faith. So starting with simple awareness, notice something you're grateful for and name it. The healing of a friendship, no longer having a fever, a stranger being kind to us, the exquisiteness of a tiny tree frog suctioned against the window, peppermint gum, anything. Once we're aware of this bit of grace, we label it, that's important, call its name out loud or in writing. It makes it a part of our conventional reality. Once it's named, we can give it more scrutiny if we need to, we can analyze it, we can meditate with it to otherwise bring it into our consciousness. So from awareness through labeling and meditation comes inquiry, gathering of information. We inquire into the nature of grace by studying scripture, listening to Dharma talks, talking with our kyomanims, sharing with our sangha. We learn to know with a deep knowing that we can't exist without the air and earth and other living beings. Through daily journal writing, we assess our own actions to discern whether our behavior is mindful or unmindful. We notice when our actions are out of alignment with the way, when we're fighting against our original true nature. This is when we must sit in the discomfort and figure a way out. So now let's look at faith. Do you know the feeling when you see the fall leaves in color or see the immensity of the ocean and you feel like you don't have enough senses to take it all in? Your eyes are just not big enough and you feel like you need a new sensory organ or something. I have lived in many states from California to Connecticut, but there's no place with a more beautifully variable sky than North Carolina. I've looked up and not been able to comprehend the beauty of the white puff clouds lined up like obedient sheep, triangles of sunbeams piercing down through a purple and black stormy sky. It's just too much. So I just breathe and smile. This is the faith and the deeper knowing that we need in order to understand the nature of grace. So now let's move on to modeling ourselves wholeheartedly on the way of heaven and earth. This basically means the way of nature, and it is described in the scripture under the section called Agenda for Gratitude to Heaven and Earth, and this is your handout. The passage lists certain characteristics of this way, and then it explains how we can model ourselves after them. So when I first came across this passage, I felt like the top of my head had popped off. It's very cryptic, it's mysterious, it's beautiful. I didn't have much of a clue what it meant, but it drew me in, and I studiously wrote it down and have since written and thought about it many times. So I'm going to share some of that with you, with the caveat that this is one practitioner's interpretation. Modeling ourselves wholeheartedly on the exceedingly radiant way. This is where we inquire and learn. So through our bright inquiry, we obtain intimate knowledge of the grace that we have received. It is also how we repay our teachers, by learning from them and modeling ourselves after them. The next one, exceedingly meticulous and steadfast. This is where we are consistent in our actions until we reach our goal. That seems pretty practical. And if we are meticulous and steadfast, we can think and speak and act in a way that serves everyone. Exceedingly just. Being just frees us from prejudice. We are judicious, not judgmental. We avoid strong attachments that make us lose perspective. And being just allows us to stick to the middle way. We can feel joy and sorrow, fear, excitement in the moment, but we don't try to chase after it or avoid it. Proper and natural. This is just a way of saying, be reasonable. It neutralizes our egos and it frees us from ignorance. Vast and immeasurable. This is where we move beyond partiality and learn to practice selfless service to others. Eternal and imperishable way. If we model ourselves after the eternal and imperishable way, this frees us to accept every change that comes our way, respecting, honoring, and welcoming each experience. So if you think of that fortune's wheel, not complaining or whining too much, just knowing that everything's going to change. Free from good or ill fortune, not getting sucked in by good luck, bad luck, remembering that everything changes, just keep moving through the good or bad period without getting stuck or perseverating on it. And the final one, free of thought in its applications. Here, we move beyond the picking and choosing mind, the judging mind, and we approach enemies with no mind. We don't look for praise or reward when we are generous. We just do it and move on. This one is particularly helpful in relationships with other people, I find. Now that we've learned how we can choose to model ourselves after the way, the final step is to find grace from harm and respond with gratitude. This is the requital part. Is it possible to find grace in harm? The Dalai Lama, in his guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, explains, when we think of someone who has wronged us, our minds, which were at peace just a minute before, suddenly become slightly agitated. It is this initial unsettled feeling that we need to immediately address. And he goes on to state that if we do not intercept this unsettled feeling, it can feed our hatred causing it to grow and do great damage. While the person who hurt us may have had other reasons for what he did, the Dalai Lama states that from the moment hatred appears, it exists for the sole purpose of harming us. So we need to confront it with all the means we have. This isn't easy, but it is necessary. Our egos are going to fight back, saying, hey, this person hurt me. I should feel resentful. I should feel angry. Or we might actually have an attachment to our feelings of victimhood. That serves the ego quite well. But we're not here to serve our egos. For me, grace from harm was an expedient mantra that gave me permission to let go of negative emotions. When I first read this phrase, grace from harm, and studied it in Dharma class, it felt almost like a remembering, like, oh yeah, this is how to do it. I'd forgotten I didn't have to hold on to pain. And one thing I'll always be grateful for, one harmful thing I will always be grateful for, is the day I learned I was being let go after 10 years in a company. The news came out of nowhere, although I should have seen the signs. My ego told me quite confidently that I was untouchable. And that day, my ego went from being as big as my corner office to a tiny and hurt, confused little thing. But that day also sent me straight as an arrow to the Won Buddhist temple, and I've never looked back. Grace from harm. So, rather than increasing our suffering by fueling resentment, we can use it as a tool to open the door of gratitude. I'd like to end with a quote. I found this in my journal dated December 12th, 2019. Don't forget the energy of heaven and earth. Make use of it when you're able. There is power in the moon, in rocks, in ginkgo leaves, in snow and ice, and in all things under heaven and on earth. Trust in that energy and in the strength that comes from your practice. Be humbled by grace and be empowered by grace. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Rebecca. That talk had so many beautiful pearls. I appreciate the deep dive into gratitude, which is such a central component of Won Buddhism, and really kind of breaking down this framework of first understanding and becoming aware of our graces, and this awesome handout on the head popping concept of modeling ourselves after the grace of heaven and earth, and how to respond by creating grace from harm. So thank you. So during these next few minutes, friends at home, during the next few minutes, you're welcome to share your thoughts in the live chat or in moments of quiet reflection. And friends here in the Dharma Hall, so many of you today, please turn to one or two of the folks sitting around you and share your thoughts and questions with each other.
Thank you, friends, for your energetic sharings, conversation. Anyone would like to share some your wisdom to everyone? Any words or like questions, anything? And we have pin mic here. You can talk to the online friends too. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, every children's meditation, and before we start, we share our names and to know who we are, and we all share one grateful thing that you had for last week for the weekend, and we asked them to tell one thing that somebody was grateful for you, like, but they find hard time finding someone else, being grateful for them. But yeah, they got something, a lot of things actually be grateful for. And me being, as you all know, Reverend Won Gong is gone for a month for the pilgrimage trip to Korea. And first, like 1 or 2 days, I feel free, like oh, it's my world. Oh yeah. But in some part of my mind, I was feel nervous, like, or worried about the temple and all the responsibilities that I'm holding on. Well, it's not that much because I got you all, but so there was a story, like there is a good wolf and bad wolf. If they were to fight each other, who's gonna win? The one who got fed well. So who got fed? Fed more, yeah. So like Rebecca's talk, which, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So for us to, like, which wolf would you like to feed more? Like on resentment or hatred, or what is it? Yeah. Or suffering, or the grace, finding grace from harm. So it'll not be easy, but will be interesting month with you together without Reverend Won Gong, and I'll try to find grace more than harm. Thank you for joining today. Any announcements?
Why, yes. Thank you all for practicing with us today. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, you're welcome to join us for a peaceful afternoon of community meditation at the Raleigh Temple. And did you know that throughout the year, every single morning at 6:30 a.m., we have morning meditation here. Our early morning meditation is a great way to set the tone for the day. All are welcome. Also, FYI, Thursday's Dharma study group is always open. You can join online or in person. Check out the website for details. By being in our community email group, you'll receive prompt updates and Zoom links for all these programs and more. Please save the date. Autumn Open House is being held on Sunday, October 27th from 12 to 4 p.m. and more details to follow. And lastly, September is a wonderful time to enjoy the temple garden, relaxing, walking, meditating while gardening. So if you have a few minutes after the service to pull a few weeds and to make our garden more welcoming, we would be most grateful for your help. We always appreciate and thank you for your thoughtful donations. Now let us turn to page 13 and bless each other with a morning prayer song.
Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace,
I begin a new day in your presence. Today full of health and with peace of mind. May I walk along the path of the Buddha. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with your grace. Today gratefully and with gentle words, may I live in harmony with all those I meet. Dharmakaya Buddha, fourfold grace. I begin a new day with compassion. Today making the world a more loving place. May I do all that I can for one world.
Now let's look at the camera over there and best wishes to Reverend Won Gong and say bye to our online friends. Thank you, friends, for joining.